Chapter 1958, Giant Volcano Tree. As Black Tortoise continued to dive, the colors of the insects began to change. The deeper they went, the darker the color of the tube worms became. At first, they were light yellow, then orange, and finally turned into a fiery red. The ocean currents were also dyed red, and the temperature around them was rapidly rising. There's an active volcano down there. And not just one active volcano, but a whole group of them. An alarm sounded inside Black Tortoise's body because the temperature of the ocean currents had reached a terrifying level, and the seawater was about to boil. Fortunately, Black Tortoise had thick skin and didn't have to worry about getting hurt. However, it was easy to imagine that the seawater rushing into the depths of the cave must have been vaporized somewhere, perhaps returning to the planet's surface through cracks in the crust, completing a water cycle. The seawater was dyed with chaotic colors, black, orange, and yellow, from the eruption of undersea volcanoes, bringing various substances from the Earth's core to the surface. However, through the chaotic colors, one could still see the intense light from the depths of the ocean. The giant black tortoise had now turned into a small sea turtle, suspended above a huge volcanic mountain range. Black Tortoise and everyone else inside the Black Tortoise looked at everything in front of them and couldn't hide their shock. An officer operated the equipment in his hands, and the analysis results displayed on the monitor by the intelligence system were startling. The length of this undersea volcanic mountain range is probably no less than that of the Qinling Mountains. At this moment, they were still very far away from the volcanic mountain range, but just a glance from afar left them almost speechless. Li Changgong was the first to recover, his eyes flashing with excitement. "This is it. This is where I want to find it. Let's head towards this volcanic range. Black Tortoise, this level of temperature shouldn't be a problem for you, right?" Black Tortoise also reacted, snorting coldly and saying, "Of course. In the deep sea, when it comes to defense, there is no one in the world who can be stronger than me." As for who that one person was, everyone knew in their hearts that it could only be that pervert with the attributes of time and space. Black Tortoise sped up and swam toward the volcanic mountain range. His spirit and physical form both widened their eyes, fixated on everything on the distant seabed. As a colossal beast of the deep sea, his sensory abilities were incredibly powerful. At this moment, he sensed the presence of a powerful energy source in this area before anyone else. "Everything in the deep sea will become nourishment to make me stronger. I can already feel it. This will be my chance. Once I am promoted to bishop level, as long as I stay in the ocean, even that guy with the surname Zhang won't be able to match me." As he got closer and closer to his target, a large amount of volcanic material spread throughout the sea, blurring his vision, but the light became clearer. It was a light that could not be obscured by the polluted sea water. Boom! Black Tortoise's huge body finally broke through the murky sea water, and at that moment, he saw what he had been looking for. He floated in the sea water, his huge eyes widening to their largest ever. The powerful and fascinating aura of what he saw before his eyes and the ultimate sight that shocked his eyes made him forget to move forward and forget that he was nearly 20,000 meters below the sea. Inside the Black Tortoise, Li Changgong loosened his arms, which he had been clutching tightly due to nervousness. He leaned against the porthole and stared blankly outside, revealing an expression identical to that of Black Tortoise. Excitement, intoxication, and exhilaration. It was like a beggar suddenly stumbling upon a gold mine. After breaking through the murky seawater, they saw volcanoes, 5 or 6 of them over 1,000 meters tall, not to mention the countless others connected in a vast chain. Red-hot magma gushed out from the cracks in the volcanoes, and even in the depths of the sea, it did not extinguish immediately because the magma continued to flow without stopping. And on top of this huge volcanic mountain range, there was actually a tree growing. It was a huge tree, several thousand meters high, rooted in the magma and drawing power from the ocean of volcanoes. Compared to it, all life on this world seemed insignificant, even the deepest sea monsters appeared as mere plankton. Its bark was blackish-brown, resembling metal, and its towering trunk extended hundreds of thick branches. There were no leaves or flowers, but on each branch grew fruits emitting a golden glow. Those fruits were full of the breath of life, a very fascinating and very familiar power. Black Tortoise, Li Changgong, Vermilion Bird, and everyone on the Black Tortoise sensed it. That power was very close to the source of God or the spirit of sacrifice. There might be some differences, but as long as they could obtain those fruits, the mutant's strength would definitely increase greatly. Even mutants below Epsilon could use them to break through their life levels. I was right. Li Changgong punched the wall inside Black Tortoise's body with all his might, his eyes almost popping out of their sockets due to overexcitement. This is what I want, this is my chance. He turned his head to look at Black Tortoise's spirit body, his eyes bloodshot. Black Tortoise, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and pick all the fruits. No, uproot the tree and bring it back. Black Tortoise's usually calm face was now difficult to keep calm. But after all, he had been in the ocean for many years and was not as careless as Li Changgong. Wait. It's not that simple, it's not that simple. What are you waiting for? Isn't this the key to making us stronger? Li Changgong's face was pressed against the porthole, greedily and excitedly staring at the huge volcanic tree, his body trembling. This is my only chance. I have to prove that even without the protection of my ancestors, even if I leave the Northwest region alone, I can make a comeback and become king. Calm down. Black Tortoise reminded him in a deep voice, do you think something this precious could be ownerless? Li Changgong didn't understand the dangers of the deep sea, but Black Tortoise did. It was like if there was a plum tree laden with fruit by the side of the road, you wouldn't think of picking the fruit to eat. Either the plums would be bitter, or they would be sprayed with pesticides. Li Changgong had already silently put on his new combat suit. This was special equipment belonging to the East Sea region that could be used in the deep sea, was resistant to high pressure, and had underwater propulsion capabilities. I know, but I can't miss this opportunity. Chapter 1959, Giant Octopus. Li Changgong took a deep breath. I've missed so many opportunities in my life. I can't accept becoming a nobody. Even if my life is in danger, I have to give it a shot. After saying that, he instantly disappeared from Black Tortoise's body and went straight into the deep sea. Flying Cloud Steps. As a space ability user, he also possessed the ability of instant movement. Entering the deep sea, the high-pressure environment made him feel slightly uncomfortable, but they had already practiced deep-sea combat in East Sea City, so it wasn't a big problem. Wait for me. Li Changgong leaped forward, continuously activating flying cloud steps to close the distance between himself and the giant tree, intending to pick the golden fruit on top. Li Changgong, you fool. You're so reckless. Black Tortoise's voice rang out lowly through the communication channel, but at this moment, he couldn't care less and could only wait for Li Changgong to pick the fruit. The closer he got to the giant volcanic tree, the more obvious the surging vitality became. Li Changgong's eyes burned with intensity as he increased the frequency of his teleportation. However, just as he was about to reach the tree's branches and pick the golden fruit, he suddenly heard a loud roar. Boom! Underneath the volcanic rock, thick smoke billowed up, and a large number of boulders accompanied by magma and dust flew towards Li Changgong like a meteor shower. Li Changgong felt a terrifying aura approaching. His pupils shrank, but he still gritted his teeth, pulled out a long sword with his right hand and slashed to the side, while his left hand still reached for the golden fruit. I am heaven's will. Nothing could be cut by the sword's edge. The huge rocks in front of him were like tofu, neatly cut apart by the sword's light. Not only the rocks, but even the flowing magma and volcanic ash avoided the path of his sword. Just as Li Changgong's hand was an inch away from grasping a golden fruit, a strong wind shot out of the ashes and stabbed violently at his wrist. Smack! A sharp sound rang out, like a huge whip lashing down, hitting Li Changgong's wrist with pinpoint accuracy. Li Changgong's hand was already clenched tightly around a golden fruit, and even though he knew this blow would hit him, he refused to let go. His left hand was almost broken by the blow, but at the last moment, he used flying cloud steps to pull himself away. Gochin, come back. Come back. Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise's urgent voices rang out over the communication channel. As Li Changgong turned around hastily, he saw what it was. The huge volcanic mountain range shattered, and a gigantic monster crawled out of the magma and dust. The thing that had just attacked him was an arm more than 300 meters long. At this moment, the sea monster awoke, its scarlet eyes looking at him and Black Tortoise through the vast fog, cold as a demon god. Li Changgong took a deep breath and calmly injected himself with medicine to heal his wrist first. As a mutant who used swords to make a living, he had to protect his hands. Black Tortoise, Vermilion Bird. Prepare for battle. There are at least several hundred golden fruits here, all of which are sacred items no less than the spirit of sacrifice. As long as we defeat this big guy, we can take them all away. When that time comes, we, and the entire Huashu kingdom, will become stronger than ever before. Li Changgong's voice carried a hint of desperation. Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird looked at the monster looming in the volcanic ash, whose single arm was longer than Black Tortoise's entire body. They were solemn, but also moved by Li Changgong's words. Who could watch a treasure trove right in front of them and return empty-handed? What's more, they had 3 Epsilon-level mutants with them. Alright, let's give it a try. I'll take the front and attract its attention. Vermilion Bird, you work with Go Chen and find the right opportunity to deliver the killing blow. As the strongest of the 3, Black Tortoise gave the order to attack. Alright. Let's fight. Vermilion Bird also quickly put on her combat suit, which was a sea blue outfit that could conceal her in the deep sea. Through a hidden door on Black Tortoise's body, she entered the deep sea. The giant sea monster slowly moved forward, passing through the thick fog, and finally revealing its true form. It was a gigantic gray-blue octopus with 8 massive arms covered in suction cups. Its huge, soft head swayed in the water, its eyes fixed on the 3 people ahead. Gurgle. It spat bubbles from its mouth, as if trying to say something. Charge. Black Tortoise opened his huge mouth and fired a dark light cannon from his mouth, which turned into a pillar of light and shot straight at the giant octopus. Although the octopus's body was huge, it was as agile as water in the deep sea. It twisted and dodged this powerful attack. The dark light cannon hit the volcano, causing the seabed to shake and lava to spurt out in large quantities. Whoosh! 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 The octopus's attack also arrived. Its 3 arms shot toward Black Tortoise like sharp swords. Black Tortoise dodged left and right, but the octopus's arms were as agile as a young girl's soft hands. The 3 arms swung without the slightest confusion, moving effortlessly through the sea water. Smack! One arm pierced the water under Black Tortoise's belly. Just as Black Tortoise was about to turn over on the seabed to get into a more advantageous position, that arm suddenly shot upwards. That's right, it didn't strike, but stuck directly onto Black Tortoise. It seemed like a powerless blow, but it ended up sticking directly to Black Tortoise's belly shell. The large number of suction cups on top clung fiercely to Black Tortoise's body, making it impossible to break free. The octopus suddenly exerted its strength, shaking the Black Tortoise's huge body back and forth. No! The Black Tortoise struggled hard but couldn't break free. However, relying on its huge size, it began to pull against the octopus. At this moment, Li Changgong and the Vermilion Bird also launched attacks from both sides. Ice Prison, Vermilion Bird. Vermilion Bird breathed out a deep blue cold air from her mouth, spread her arms, and a series of cold ice turned into phoenix wings that condensed on her body, quickly turning her into a huge ice blue phoenix. The cold air spread rapidly in the deep sea, approaching the giant octopus, and in an instant, its arms began to freeze. Freezing was not the true ability of Ice Prison Vermilion Bird. She was a fire-type mutant, but her power was not blazing flames, but a reverse flow of flames.